Who are these people and who are they to tell us where we have to put our plants? Screw that. Put your plants where you want to put your plants. You hear rules of thirds and all this crap when it comes to aquascaping. Forget it. Aquafinity. I'm Jeff Miotke of JM Aquascaping, or Jeff Miotke Aquascaping, and I'm doing this little collaboration here with Zach of Aquafinity. A little bit about myself. I am a aquascaper of 15 years and an aquarist for almost 5 decades. I've been around, I've seen some things. Okay, y'all, let's start the tour with this tank. This is my forest theme tank. It is currently set up for a contest. Probably will enter it in multiple contests, different photo for each. Before we get too far, let's talk about the equipment. This is a 4-foot tank, 68 gallons. It is a Aqualife low iron rimless aquarium. I absolutely love it. The light is the Chihiro's WRGB2 LED array. I like it because I have ramp up, ramp down. I can dial in the color as well as the power ratings. It's on suspension cables, so I can raise and lower it, and it's not in my way when I do maintenance at all, so that speeds that up. The filter is the OASE Bimaster 850 Thermo Edition, and I love this filter because of the pre-filter, and it gets the heater out of the tank and into the filter. And then I have CO2 injection on the side there. Right there, that is a CO2 ART 17 millimeter diffuser. So I have actually 2 of the diffusers, so I can take one out, put it into maintenance where I clean it, and take the second one, pop it in there. Do that with a lot of things like the skimmer attachment. So this skimmer attachment here, I'll do the same thing. I have 2 of these. You can see all the gook on there. This is like a daily occurrence. So I gotta clean that up. Yeah, so I have swappables along with the pre-filter sponges. So I'll have a set ready to go. So I take the dirty ones off, put the clean ones on, put it back together. It takes like 30 seconds to get my filter cleaned every week. And then I'll take, a minute or 2, rinse about 80% of the gook out of the sponges. So they're perfectly clean, but good enough, right? Without wasting a bunch of water. The inspiration for this was Muir Woods in San Francisco during a trip last year where I actually collected these materials out in Sacramento, California. And I modified it. I put this snake in here. So if you look closely, this is the snake's head here. You'll see I even put a fang and an eyeball in there, and I have it snaked back through the aquarium. So it's a stone called serpentine stone. So I made a serpent out of the serpentine stone in the forest layout. So hopefully it's memorable. That's what I shoot for when I create a contest tank, which is how it differentiates from just another one of my tanks. Is I try to make something that go, oh, people, when I talk to them, like, oh yeah, I remember that one. That was cool. That one really stood out. The fish in here are Espe rasboras. Most of these I have tank raised myself. I bought a small group of them to begin with, and I lost a few over the years, and put them in another tank, bred them out. Fairly easy fish to breed and raise. It's just a wonderful fish. Let's do the feeding thing. I use a variety of different flakes and live brine on this. So I got the light on this thing. Let's see if they, there you go. They're like very active feeders. So there are over 20 varieties of plants in here, and some of the stands out are the Pagostum erectus here. Ranunculus and Udatus is this fern-looking one. A lot of Boos in here. Mercilea. If you ever looked at Muir Woods, it has a lot of 4-leaf clover patches underneath. This is what I use to replicate that feeling. Blixa, dwarf baby tears. So yeah, 20 different plants or so. This tank has been set up since December, and I love it. Who knows how long I'll keep it up. It's been very, very peaceful. I love it. The CO2 cylinder and all the power bricks and stuff are actually behind here. There's a closet, and I drilled a hole through the wall here. So all of that extra stuff is back there so that this is an open, empty stand. And I just have the filter here. Did have the filter in the closet way back when, but the tubing length is just too long. It's hard to clean, and it also reduces the flow. So the filter is right next to the tank with the shortest tubing run. Yep, so that's that tank. Let's take a look. You've been a competitive aquascaper for the past 15 years. What drives you to compete, and how has the competition influenced your skills and creativity? I have been entering my creations to the contest for a long time now. I have over 20 different works that have won awards. I think that has been an important aspect of what you see like behind me. I've gained the techniques and skills to do this effortlessly. Rough word. Without the competitive aquascaping piece, I don't think I would be at this level. At always striving to push your skills a little bit further, and more importantly is seeing what others are doing, and it's more of a collaboration, a sharing of ideas. And because of this, it has really shown me the importance of the community. And I'm a big believer in it. I'm this senior member of the Aquascapers Collective, which is a group of like-minded hobbyists that want to learn how to aquascape and improve their aquascaping. I serve as an OASE ambassador. I'm very fortunate to have an outlet for my message, my missions, which is to inspire, educate, and have some fun while we're doing all this. I've had the opportunity to speak, say like at the conventions like Aquashella on the main stage. At this point, I've given over 100 demonstrations and public talks on aquascaping. It's been a fantastic platform to really try to grow this hobby. It's improved a lot in the last 5 to 10 years. We have so much further to go. So I'll keep doing my best, and hopefully this hobby gets bigger and bigger and better. And I think competitions are a big part of that, but they are not what drives me. I would do this anyway if there was no competitions, because I want this in my home, right? I mean, who wouldn't? This is cool. Can you share how you got into the aquarium hobby and what sparked your passion for aquascaping? Okay, so real quick, grew up on a lake. I would go down to the lake. Early mornings, the lake was like glass. You could see all the fish, plants, and all that. And I was just captivated when I was like 6, 7 years old. It just was, I guess, in my blood at that point. Aquascaping, ran across the works of Amano 15 years ago, got his books. I looked at his stuff, looked at my stuff, and I said, I'm doing this wrong. You can see the result of that influence of Amano. This is the Miotke tank. It currently has yellow tiger mosaic guppies in it. I started with a pair, and of course now I have a gazillion of them. I have the Aquascaper soil down here, the brown variety. Again, serpentine stone, same stone as the first tank, but these are much larger pieces. I did collect all the serpentine stone. A lot of the plants that you see in here are the same plants that are in there. This is set up more in farm mode, so it's basically holding my plants for the next build. I'm not inspired yet to create something new, and it looks good enough in farm mode. So I have 3 large pieces of stone in there, and probably about 15 to 20 different types of plants. Hygrophila pinnatifida, blixa, this is the ranunculus here. Dwarf baby tears, this one right here is Mercelia minuta. It's a tiny version of Mercelia. Hydrocotyle tripartia is this clover looking one. Rotella rotundifolia green in the background there. Rotella wallichii or wallichii is the reddish one there, and the bigger leaf red one is Rotella macrandra. You can see everything is extremely healthy. These fish, they want to be fed too. And they eat so much, probably because they're so active. Yeah, that's the second tank here. By the way, these stands you see on the first tank and this tank are built by me. They're 1.5 inch poplar wood, and they're super stable. So if I can't wiggle these at all. Really love my stands, though they cost a fortune. The Chihiros WRGB Vivid above here, so it's a single pendant light. I have these shades on here to stop the light spill. And again, it's on suspension cable, so I can raise or lower it, so that I have a water reservoir that tops them off all the time. And running the skimmers on all of them as well, except for the last tank that you'll see. Keeps the water surface crystal clear and highly oxygenated. CO2 again, I have 2 20-pound CO2 cylinders. One is back there, one is in the other closet, and they both have the ability to hook up multiple tanks to each cylinder. So if I run out of gas on one, I can just simply run the tubing over to the other one and buy myself some time before I get this one refilled. Okay, so let's move on. This here is a little bookshelf aquarium that I just set up 3, maybe 4 weeks ago. It is an 18-inch aquarium. It's running the OASE Crystal Skim, the 300 edition at the lowest flow because it's a small tank. They have a small CO2 diffuser below there. It's got the glassware. These are 10mm pipes going down to the OASE FiltoSmart 100 thermo. So the heater's down there. Running the Chihiro's, I think it's the C2. So it's a little light that just clamps onto the side of the tank. It's featuring the Hakai stone, which is a river stone. It's very smooth, and if you ever hold it, it's like holding metal. It's so dense, it's incredible. So it just has this stream feeling. So what you're seeing here is something very traditional nature aquarium. We have a carpeting plant, in this case it's the dwarf baby tears, and I have 3 different types of hairgrass. Shortest here, Pasilla, Acicularius, and Parvula behind that. Like I said, this is just getting going. It won't look great for, say, another 4 weeks. It'll snap together. Right now there's a little bit of diatoms, a little bit of algae here and here. The plants are still situating themselves, still rooting themselves. There's a bunch of trimming that's got to happen still. And wait till everything's very well rooted to give it its first trim. It's really very peaceful, very easy. Very low maintenance, great tank. If you want to do something like shrimp or some tiny nanofish or snails, something like that, this would be a fantastic aquarium for those inhabitants. I probably will just leave it open for now and just see. I have enough work with the other 3. How do you maintain your aquascapes to keep them so healthy? A lot of it is just know-how. These systems are dialed in, the light is dialed in, the fertilizers are dialed in. I'm injecting CO2, I'm on a weekly maintenance, like water changes and removing detritus out of the bottom. Once you get that routine and understand how to grow plants and not fight algae, it's really pretty easily done. Anyone can do this. That's what I do, is I teach folks, hey, this is possible. Don't listen to everybody else that says, oh, that's a contest aquascape, it only lasts 3 months and you gotta tear it down, it's all fake, blah, blah, blah. That's all lies, myths, laziness. I don't know why this is a thing. I'm not special, anybody can do this. Next question, favorite aquascaping plants and advice on working with hardscape. Favorite aquascaping plants. I don't do favorites, but I do have a list of go-tos. I find favorites limit you. Don't think about favorites. Or another thing is like, foreground, midground, and background plants. Who are these people and who are they to tell us where we have to put our plants? Screw that. Put your plants where you want to put your plants. Do your own designs, do your own thing, be creative. Don't do favorites, don't limit yourself, be very open-minded and have fun, right? There's no rules. You hear rules of thirds and all this crap when it comes to aquascaping. Forget it, throw all that out. Improve the execution of your aquariums. Having some of these rules are not ways to do it. For beginners looking to start their aquascaping journey, what essential tips or advice would you offer? Start the hobby with a realistic expectations of your lifestyle. Where's the tank gonna go in your life? What room is it gonna be in? How much time do you have to dedicate? How many resources are you gonna put in? What is your end goals? I mean, do you wanna have something that's like this, or do you want to breed fish, or do you want to try making money on that? What are your goals? Really be realistic about it, and those around you too, like your family, those people you live with. How is it going to impact them? Because an aquarium is a commitment. It is taking responsibility for animals. You can't just shrug your responsibilities when you take these on. So be realistic. Match the hobby to your lifestyle. If you do that, I promise you, you will be successful. What has been your most memorable aquascaping project to date? Let's take a look at my quirkiest, best, most fun aquascape I've ever created. I told you, it's pretty crazy. This here is Candlelit Cove. I built this, it's almost 2 years old now that this has been set up, and I have build videos on my YouTube channel, JM Aquascaping. My little betta fish here, I just picked him up. He was a gift from Splashy Fish. We were at a convention, we were talking about how amazing a betta fish would be down in this water section of the paludarium. This is the OASE Scaperline 90 setup, roughly 50-gallon aquarium, 3 foot long by 18 inches by 18 inches, powered by another Chihiro's WRGB 2 LED array. All of the buildings you see here are all 3D printed and hand painted by me. This was a big challenge. I have a build video out on YouTube of how I created this and the docks and just the whole setup and all the special effects. So right now, the misters, let's turn that on. By the way, everything I have is automated with smart switches, so I can just pull up my iPad and turn things on and off. And you can see, right? It's gotta be fun. All the buildings are lit up with LEDs, so you can see them going on and off. There's over 20 varieties of plants in this one. Some of them straddle the water and the land, like this Hydrocota Partia. You can see it's very adept at living in both. You'll notice maybe that the leaves are bigger above the water and tiny below the water. It's because this is not injected with CO2. So that's limited carbon down here. Lots of different types of moss down here. Boos, Nubius, mini-coin. I have a whole bunch of it down here. This plant up here is Hygrophila siamensis 53B. It's a plant I get from Tropica. In fact, many of these plants that you see today are from Tropica. This is its immersed form. In other words, up out of water. It would be just as happy in the water. The Wigia, super red, back in this corner over here. This frilly one here is asparagus fern, this guy right here. It's actually wants to escape. It keeps sending up vines and they'll go all the way to the ceiling. They go up the light and then up the suspension cables and then just curl around the ceiling. So I keep it in check with the scissors. All these vine trailing plants that I have trained around this hardscape. All of this hardscape is available in the aquarium trade is cerulean stone and black forest driftwood. These docks are all handmade. This is chamise wood. I collected in California, these columns. And the decking is made out of craft supplies, balsa wood basically. I just followed deck building procedures and built it on a tiny scale and then hand painted everything. Down below here, we have equipment. We have the smart switch with all the stuff plugged into it. We have the water reservoir for the auto top off on this side, and then on this side we have the filter. So we have an OASE Biomaster 600 on this tiny little tank. I mean, not tiny tank, but tiny amount of water. So it keeps it super clean. This was put together during a really tough time in my life. It was funny because when I posted this video, the making video, I got one of the comments that says something like, "This is the result of a master aquascaper who has found boredom." Yeah, pretty close, but not boredom, it was sadness. So I wanted something very happy, something unique, something just fun, play with it, do something out of the box. And I think I achieved it. So the mission: inspire, educate, and have fun. Where do you see the future of aquascaping heading in the near future? I've seen aquascaping all the way to its beginning. I know where we are at, and I know the progression we've seen. It's going to continue to grow. There is just something innately in us that responds positively to keeping animals and plants. I don't care if it's regular terrestrial gardening, bird watching, fishing, whatever it is, we have this built into our soul, this connection with nature. So we're going to see this continue to grow, because this is essentially what we're doing here with aquascaping, with freshwater planted tanks, is underwater gardening. We're just seeing the beginning. Once people see this, they want it in their home. I can tell you, I've been approached so many times at my public appearances. So many people are attracted to this, but then they're a little bit turned off because then they start finding out that there's a learning curve, and it's not as simple as just having someone come in and set this up. You need to really know how to maintain it. In this day and age, we're fighting the opposite, where everyone's getting on social media and doing the flip, getting little dopamine hits and stuff. This is like the answer to that. Take a moment, live in the moment, reconnect with nature, and enjoy life. Don't be flipping. Anyway, that's enough of that. And then words of wisdom you could give anyone about the hobby from your 45+ years of experience. Words of wisdom. Learn to grow plants, not fight algae. Learn to appreciate the journey, not the destination. Aquascaping, this is living art. It is a way of life. This changes by the day. Live in the moment and enjoy it in the moment. Stick to like one aquarium at first. Even when you have success, don't branch into the multiple tank syndrome. Really focus your attention. As soon as you start getting another tank and another tank, your attention is not only your attention, but your resources, your time, your money, your interests is split. And your first tank will never be as good once you have 2 tanks or 3 tanks. I am a professional. I've been doing this for a long time. I have 4 currently set up and I struggle with it. One, I'll get going really, really well, you know, create materials, print, photos, film, that kind of stuff. And the others will suffer because of it. And I've been doing this so long, I've got this streamlined. I spend about 30 minutes a week on each aquarium doing standard maintenance, and then every month or every other month I'll spend an additional hour doing it, like a deep maintenance on it. And that'll include things like taking the tubing off the side and running the hose, the tubing brush through the hose, cleaning the CO2 diffusers, things that need to be maintained to keep the system stable. That's my words of wisdom. I want to thank Zach for having me on his channel and doing this collab. I hope you enjoy the tour. Again, I'm JM Aquascaping, and I'm here to help, inspire, educate, and have some fun. Hopefully you found my tanks fun. As I always say, less talking, more scaping. See y'all later.